Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. Last episode we had a little bit of a mini disaster, but I think it's a blessing in disguise. And I got a comment, a suggestion for the name of this lake right here, to call it Love Lake. And I really like that name, and then when I came over here to type it I thought actually Lake Love sounds really cool. And the reason why, it's kind of shaped like a heart, which I think is pretty cool. A lot of people have noticed that. I've seen a few comments about that for a while, so we have named that. That's cool, and also the whole trees thing that I showed you in the last episode, some of you have pointed out that there is a way to fix this, or at least to make our life a lot more easier. We can erase trees by right-clicking like this, so you can see that we can take some away like this. I don't want to take away too many, because actually these patches right here look pretty good. If you look over there, you can see like a sharp line off in the distance. I removed a lot of them around here, because you can actually remove the ones behind the border as well, and then it started to look a little bit ugly when you cut through a dense forest and just leave this sort of path there. So that's going to solve the problem for now. It means we can remove them around in places, but once again I want to do a little bit of an experiment. Let's zoom in down here. Look, we've got a lot of trees right here. I'd like to see if that tool works for the trees that are not actually there, because last time we found out that you can drag a road across a whole bunch of trees and they're still technically there. When you delete the road they're going to come back, and what I want to find out, as I just said, is let's just expand the brush size there and remove like this, and then let's delete the road and see if they pop back. They don't. That is very good to know. That means that I can go around the city and remove some of the trees in the random places where we've got lots of buildings and roads, etc., and free up the count that way. However, now that I know I can, remove mass trees, we'll probably end up removing them from some of the other islands. So yeah, as always, another daily video, so 2,000 likes, there'll be another one tomorrow. Almost forgot to mention that. And really, the support has been absolutely terrific. We've been doing these daily videos since we've started, and it's amazing, and I really do appreciate it. So in this episode, we're going to do the same thing we tried to do last episode. This time, I'm going to get a plan of action. So what I'm going to do right now is take a step back from this, sort of look at it from a distance, and figure out what exactly it is we're going to do, because I want to make a layout that's going to work correctly this time. Last time, as we did it, we started to see some problems with the way I'd gone into doing this, because we're not just putting down a few zones, we're actually kind of expanding the city. We need to create a whole ecosystem with the residents living here and commercial zones, etc. So a lot of thought needs to go into this. Alright, there you go. It's not the prettiest of sights, but if you look at where our raw materials are, I've kind of mapped out where the bulk of them are. That's what's dictated this sort of ugly looking layout at the moment. Now, an important thing to notice here is that this grid is not connected to any of these. What I was thinking is that when we have our commercial and residential, what we could do is connect it with footpaths so that people walk to work, and that would mean that this area here could have workers, but they would remain completely isolated from the rest of the main network of roads. So they could only go over here. This connects to the cargo bay. You can see a load of trucks there because we've also got this thing hooked up down the bottom as well. So at the moment what they're doing, by the way, is importing goods and just distributing it into our industrial area down here. So by having a residential and commercial area here, we would be separating it from these areas, but there would be a way for them to get to work. So it could work. The alternative would be to put a metro in each of these little places and then hook that up to our main city, and then workers could use the metro to get to work over here. And I like that idea more because this is more of a mining operation than a city that we actually want to have people settling down in. So we might try that first of all, but we've also got to put services in these areas for the industrial. Mainly crime and fire, I guess, are going to be the two. And that's going to cost us a lot of money as well. So it could end up being a very expensive endeavour, but it means that all of our traffic is going to be separated from our main line, and the only way to get materials into the city is using this thing right here, and I think it's worth a go. So we're probably going to start off doing that, but while we do that, I'm also going to, and by the way, when I say that, what I mean is just the industrial areas. We're not going to bother with this. This is a little grid that I laid out, but we're probably not going to use that. And while we're doing that, I feel like expanding a new area over here. I saw something posted on the Reddit where they basically built like a big garden area around some of the big buildings, and it reminded me that we still need to go through our unique buildings. We are aiming towards some of these monuments, and we could definitely build a couple of these. Now the courthouse would look really good with a big garden around it, I think, so that's the kind of thing I was looking to build. We've also got the observatory, and how close are we to these things? The business park might take a while. We could definitely get the Grand Library, and that we are very close to as well. So it looks like we could aim to get a few of these other buildings built as well this episode, and what we'd do is we'd sort of put them in a similar area together. But anyway, let's get to the task at hand. I will start zoning a new area over here because our unemployment rate is just 3%. So if we want to get workers over here, we're going to need some more people in the city as well. Well, it looks like this might be a tricky operation to manage. Expansion is very slow. I haven't really zoned a lot of areas either. It's not often that you just zone a small area for 1 or 2 buildings. So let's zone a little bit more here. Let's just go with 2 4-wide segments. But yes, we do have some buildings here. And yeah, they got some error messages on them. But look, 5 workers have actually made their way over here, which is cool. And over on this place, we've got 3, and the one next to it has 4. So the metro thing is working. People are coming over here, and they're coming over here to work, which is fantastic. And look at that, another building pops up. However, kind of feel like we don't have enough workers for them. So we do need to expand our residential in the city. If we look at our stats, this may have just jumped up to 98. No, it's still on 97%. But there you go, and this is completely isolated. The only way it's connected to the rest of the city is the metro, and so far I've seen a truck going back and forth between these 2 industries. And I have been reading some comments. People have been saying that you can look into it, and there's actually buildings that I think mine, and then other ones that then produce the materials. So uranium, that's a bit of a funny name right there. Zinc products, all cooperation. I don't think any of these are going to give the hint away as to what they do, but essentially there's buildings that mine, and then they're going to take the materials they mine to the processing factories, and then the processing factories are going to ship it out, and that's when they'll go all the way over here and over to this. But I yet to see a truck come over here, but it's a promising start. We know that we can do this, so I think now what we'll do is we'll move on to another part of the city and focus on some expansion over there. We've also got a new building here, and that has no workers, and there was one down near this metro station that had no workers either, and there you go, still no workers. So let's work on expanding the residential. So I know where this residential area is going to go. It's going to be in this space right here, and on the opposite side as well. We're going to mix in lots of offices and probably a little bit of commercial with that as well. And I'm looking forward to doing this. I've got a great idea for the grid, but here we're doing something I don't think we've actually done yet. I'm putting a roundabout underneath the motorway, so the motorway can go straight across, or you can turn off down onto the motorway. And this is actually quite a common way of doing things in the UK, but I was just making some connections here, and again, just wanted to show you what I'm doing, because I'm not sure if a lot of you have this trouble making intersections or not, but use other roads is what I'm trying to get at here to make your intersections. This makes life so much easier. So if we do that, we can then grab the motorway road, and I've just got to remember which way around we are. Driving on the right, so the right road is the one that goes in, and the left one comes out, and you can kind of hook it up like this, and then you can use that middle road to identify where you can first put it, and then when you do that on the other side, it's going to follow the same principle. So there you go, they're now pretty much parallel, and we just swap the direction of this road, and then we delete all of these, and then let's say we want to make those a little bit smaller. Well, actually they've got a halfway point if you look at them, so you can see right there's a little bit of a snap, so we put those across like that, then delete all of these roads, and we've made ourselves a nice little exit which we can then put up, connect to some regular roads. So that's how I did that. It's looking pretty cool, and I'm going to start work on the layout now. So in this area I'm going to go with a grid layout which I've started working with. It's quite easy to build because we're going to basically follow right angles and 45-degree roads, and I've just started laying this down, and straight away I've spotted something that looks a little bit silly. So if you look at the way I've done this, I've actually built this parallel to this bit over here. I thought it would look really nice to have a wall of buildings down there that separates from this area, and then you have, you know, all of that area filled with trees. However, when it comes over to matching it up with this bit, it really feels awkward and looks a little bit odd. So I'm thinking what we should actually do is make our road system parallel with this one right here. So this would be where our main road starts, around this area, and like we did before, we're going to pull it off of this intersection, and then we're going to start our roads here, and we're going to work on this grid. So you can see it's a different alignment to the other one, and I think that's actually going to look a lot better. It's going to match up with this one, and it means our wall over here will be a little bit wonky, but that could actually look good as well. You know, a load of streets sort of going like this is probably more likely what the angle is going to be like, and then you can have all the trees sort of filling in the gaps leading up to it. I reckon it'll look pretty cool. But here's another thing, the roads are going to go under this motorway as well. So our entire area that we're building is sort of going to be connected around this main roundabout right here, but the roads are going to go under, so either side is connected as well. Well, that is a lot of roads, isn't it? Let's just scale this up compared to other places. This is actually probably going to be the biggest district that I've built so far by the looks of it. It's almost the same sort of size as this one right here, but it's going to be mostly residential and offices. And I'm thinking now that the traffic might be a little bit of a problem coming all through here, so there'll probably be some connecting roads down the bottom, and maybe even one of these can connect out somewhere over here. So we'll deal with all of that. A lot of this is going to be about dealing with the problems of building a massive new area. So we're not going to keep a grid like this. What I'm actually going to do is go around and try to make this look a little bit prettier. First of all, these roads right here don't look very good. We want to connect these ones up to these diagonal lines. They're going to be sort of the main flow of traffic. And we want to add in a few curved roads like this as well to make things look good. So what I'm going to do is just go around and look at where we can bulldoze a few roads, make some grids or plot areas like that, and also throw in a few curved roads as well. But it's the kind of thing where I'm going to have to just sit back and concentrate a little. And actually we're going to make that all kind of symmetrical. Wait, no, that's the wrong road. Let's delete those ones. So that's the same as the other side. But then we'll add in some curved roads. So you see how this one is curved? We can kind of follow that and perhaps make this one right here a big curve. So that'll actually be quite easy to do. And this is all about looks, by the way. It's nothing to do with traffic management. I'm really just going for something that looks pretty at this point, because that's what I feel I've had the most fun with so far in this game, is making things look cool. So you can see that line going through. The way it disconnects there in the middle is all right, I think. But we'll make this curve around somewhere else as well, maybe down here. And we'll kind of follow that. So as we remove and place more roads, that's going to become a lot more apparent. I think if we got rid of that... That looks really good. That looks nice. You can see it's starting to come together now. So the way that we got these big sections there, I kind of feel like that we need that down here. Maybe do something like that. Yeah, it's starting to look a little better. So I'm going to continue this. Just keep adding in curves and doing bits and bobs and see what we come up with. Oh, it's looking so cool, isn't it? Imagine this when it's filled up with loads of buildings. It's going to look real good. I don't know how it's going to manage traffic-wise. But I love these curved roads. Just going to add another one around the back like that. That's a perfect curve. And, oh, that looks ever so good, doesn't it? I also extended this out just by a single block, by the way. Because obviously these roads are a little bit thicker. And so if you look here, we've actually got the full 8 blocks going across, which is really nice. And I just remembered something. I was going to consider footpaths in this. But if you look at it, if you're going to walk anywhere, there's so many roads and connections. There's probably not a lot of places where a footpath would really make sense, is there? So maybe we won't need that. Maybe just some areas we're going to need them. Like, we're definitely going to connect these two areas together with footpaths and stuff. In fact, here's a connection that might make sense to drive some traffic down into this area. It's going to be interesting once we have traffic inside this place to then connect it up. But we've done one little segment down here. It's looking real cool. Love the diagonal roads and the curves. You know, you throw in a few of those and it makes a big difference. And by the way, this is going to be where our kind of like building park is. So yeah, anyway, I'll finish doing the rest of these areas right here, and then we can start zoning this thing. Alright, this is it, people. Check it out. That's my final layout. I am pretty happy with how it turned out. Love all these curved roads and stuff. They look really cool. And yeah, I like how it turned out. It does look a little bit derpy, not going to lie. Let's resume the game here and speed it up. We're going to start zoning things and putting down our different areas. So what I've been thinking is that I'd like some high-rise buildings around this, because this is where our little park of buildings is going to be. So we're actually going to put some high-density stuff in a ring on the inside here like this. Literally going all the way around the outside. And another thing I need to remember to do is to put down some parks. We'll do that for now. And then on the other side of the high density, I want some offices, because I thought they would look cool in this area, considering this is supposed to be like a mayor's office or something. Because the Reddit post was about this person had reached like a really high population and then decided they wanted to build themselves a tribute. And I loved how it looked. It looked like you know, some of the stuff you see in Washington, D.C. or around the White House. Lovely big gardens around the lovely buildings. So that's what we're going to go for. We're also going to throw down some parks around the outside of this. So power is going to be a thing pretty quickly. We'll probably just draw that from over here. Let's make a big line up to the top and then into the side, and then we will go in like this, and hopefully that will connect up in a moment. Oh, we've also got to pipe it. I always forget there's so much to be done, isn't there? So I got to throw down a whole bunch of pipes as well, and then we're going to have to put services in and all of that stuff. So let me just take care of some of that. Alright, parks are cool. We got loads and loads of parks everywhere. I decided what I want to do is separate all of these buildings up with some parks in between. We want to make this one of the nicest and fanciest areas in the entire place. And already we got some dead bodies piling up. Brilliant. We're going through a little death crisis again at the moment. I did just open some crematoriums as I saw them creeping up. Look, there you go. There's some symbols in this area, one over there, there. Sometimes it's a little hard to focus and actually see them. And I think they go red when they get a little bit severe and the body's been there for a while, which is never good when it's in a public park. But anyway, if we come over into this area, you can see what we've done is divided all of these up into groups of 4. And it seems that some of these have actually become unzoned, which is a little bit odd. But we want to have our entrance into this area over there. And so let's just check and have a look. Yeah, look, some of these areas have become unzoned. That's interesting. Which is not what we want. We want to divide them up into 4x4 blocks, and then rather than have smaller buildings like this, we just want the one big ones like we have over here. And every now and then there's going to be a gap because it doesn't quite line up, but it looks good. There we go, some more zones that haven't been quite done correctly. That's just where I've been placing in the parks and then removing them again. I think there's actually a park missing right there, or maybe it didn't line up, but on the corners here it lines up nicely to create 3 grids of 4, which is cool. We're not going to do that for the offices though. The offices can just be like they are. And let's have a look at the traffic. It's not so great, is it, at the moment? There's lots of parked cars though, but I guess everything's moving fluidly. And wow, that is a lot of traffic coming in right there, isn't it? And I'm thinking some one-way roads and stuff like that eventually are going to make a lot of sense, right? But we'll probably wait until we've got more traffic in this area to start figuring that out. Public transport as well will help. Loads of things to do. When you're developing a new area, it's easy to forget all the things that you actually need. But I think now what we'll focus on is some residential. So if we zoom out, I think what I'd like to do is put some high density stuff down the bottom here, and then maybe make the rest of these areas a little bit lower. So we're going to have offices in these bits as well. So outside these offices, I think is where we will put some more housing. So for now, I'm just going to do the big blocks like this, and then all these extra little areas we need to put down paths and manage it like that. So much to do. So much to do, I've forgotten. Yep, so that'll do for now. Big lump of residential on either side. Not sure what we're going to do with the front here, but this is where we're going to build our entrance. This is what I want to do next. So I think what would be best is if we were to wrap the roads here going in. So let's go 2 behind the line, go out half, up half like that, and do the same thing on this side. So 2 behind the line, half and half, and then that's our kind of like little round entrance right there. We will then remove this, and that's the way you get into this area. So we'll put a load of parks in this front bit, and then we'll have some paths leading off. So we've got to think about what buildings we're actually going to put in here and where exactly they're going to go. Definitely going to have that one. The courthouse can be like there in the middle, and then maybe a building on either side. Now the other thing to consider is what would actually fit in, because we've got an aquarium and a science centre. And also if we build some more service buildings, we can have this one. That'll probably fit in quite well. That's a tall building. So maybe what we should aim for is a tall building on one side, that one right there. This one in the middle, and then a tall building on the other side. That sounds alright, but first we've got to unlock this one. So what does that mean? More service buildings, we need 9 in total. So I guess if we plop down some metros and things like that in the area, some health services, then that will get taken care of. So the reach of the hospital is quite a thing to behold. That's pretty much going to do the entire area, with the exception of like the outskirts, which means we might have to put down a smaller clinic somewhere. Down here though, when we connect up the roads, I imagine that's going to help with that area. So we'd like to steer it maybe a little bit more to the right, but it's kind of hard to squeeze it on these roads. So I don't think we'll overthink this one. We'll put it right there in the middle on one side. I imagine it's going to be the same deal for the fire station. By the way, I can't remember if I mentioned this. We've got DP's fire stations as well. This is a guy who's been making loads of models for the game. So is that any difference in size of plot? It's not. Let's just zoom out a little bit more. Great coverage there, just missing some over on the right side. So actually I might put this over here, perhaps. Maybe get a little bit more of that area. It's kind of hard to call it, isn't it? I think actually we'll just stick with the symmetry and put this thing, we'll go with his one, and put it right there in the middle. So these things need power at the moment. Maybe we'll chuck in a few more offices just to connect up the grid. We can do that quite easily here, just from there to there, I'd say. And on this side, look, the grid is a little bit wonky. It kind of worries me when things like that happen because you're not sure where the discrepancy has come from. Anyway, that'll do right there. And what's next? They obviously need power. That'll come in a moment. If not, I guess we could do this for now. If it would connect. It doesn't want to connect. Come on. There we go. And then a little power line across the middle like that should help. Excellent. Okay, all of that's powered. And now we need, let's see, a police station. We'll probably go with the big one again. Police headquarters. We could put that right next to the fire station. Nice coverage on that. Excellent. And look at it. These areas are loving it. They're all upgrading because they're getting loads of services. We've also got to do schools and stuff as well. And one of the buildings we need to unlock is with lots of universities. You can see here we're plunging, though, into the negative a little bit. But that'll all change. You know, we'll fix this area up as we go along. The traffic is looking pretty horrendous. Have we now unlocked the next building? Let's have a look. It was actually this one right here. 5 more service buildings. Didn't we only need like 3 a minute ago? Maybe I wasn't paying too much attention. Okay, so let's build some more buildings. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I guess if we do some more residential, then we can put down the schools as well. Okay, we've got 3 metros on this side. We're going to put a lot of stuff in this area. In fact, I'm thinking of zoning this off and also making it high-tech housing as well, which would be interesting. We're going down into the negative, but don't worry about that. We're developing it slowly, so it will pick back up, that's for sure. Zoned out some more residential, put in some parks. All of this is going to be low in this area. And we're almost ready for this. Let's see if that did it, if those counted as service buildings. So very nearly. So how many do we need? 3? I'm losing count already. So 2 high schools, an elementary school, and 3 metros. So obviously some of that doesn't quite count. But I think this area is going to need its own university. And let's go with this one right here and compare it to the other one. In fact, I think I did that already. And I couldn't see much difference. So if we put the university... Actually, I think having it like right here at the entrance would be really cool. That's where we're going to put it. We're going to put it right there. It's going to celebrate and open up our big area. So that's what it looks like. And I think the main idea is what this guy's done is he's just sort of polished up and fine-tuned them. If we then go over to our university here... Can't really see too much difference. Obviously having them side by side would help. If we go down here though, we have a couple of these side by side. So this one at the end here is the DP one and this is the regular one. So if we just take a quick look, you can see that he's put some rocks on the edge here with some gates, and there's the sign, so you can see that for the comparison. And just really fine tweaked and tuned things up a little bit. I mean, there's not much that's changed at all. A few more parking spaces. But yeah, just a slight variation there, which is pretty cool, I guess, if you like the whole detail in the city. So anyway, I think we've now probably unlocked that. Yep, no. Okay, so a service building, I'm guessing wasn't one of the ones we just built. Maybe we'll just put down another incinerator over here, and let's hope that that does it. Okay, here we go with the big buildings. I can't help but feel at this point this might be a little bit of a mistake. They look really big and probably kind of out of place, but we're going to put these 2 at the front. And it's nice to see that they're actually quite a similar size there. This one obviously being a bit more bulky. And then this thing, can it actually fit in this area? It's the one thing I didn't check. And it looks like it doesn't because the slope is too steep. That's not good. What about putting it right there? You see, I would like that to be a little further back. So let's see if we can make that happen. Pull out a road like this. Come across, I think it's half or just over half. There we go. That looks about right. And let's see if it will fit into that space. No, slope too steep. Okay, it looks like it might take me a while to figure this one out. I am really not sure if I like this or not. These big buildings right here, they look cool. This one looks alright. This one's sort of half dug into the ground, which looks strange. But this one is so dug in, it kind of takes away. You want it to be like elevated and out on display, and now it's kind of nestled into the hillside a little bit. So I'm sort of considering relocating these. Let's say we just go over here. And it's only 4,000 to relocate, so maybe we can find like a better location. If we put this closer to the front, perhaps we'll make the back area more of a garden and have all of these buildings closer to the front here. Although it will upset some of those. Where it is right now, it's just out of range of the noise. Maybe we can try putting it on this side over here. Slope too steep. Yeah, I think wherever we try and put this, it's not going to work out too great. Maybe at the top here, again, slope is just too much for it, isn't it? Aha, I've managed to hide the cliff lines here by adding a road going straight across the side here. You can see we hide all of these scars. It's quite interesting how that works actually. It just shoves it right over alongside it, and because of the road you can barely see that. So now there's still kind of overbearing on this one, but it does have a little bit more space, and that is what I think we're going to settle for. So we've made that bit look nice, that's cool, but now what I want to do is put a load of footpaths in this area and tons of trees and parks as well. Make it look really, really awesome. Look at that traffic, eh? We have got problems to solve around here. I've been thinking what we'll probably do is have a few off-ramps over on these sides as well. That makes so much sense, but that's a problem to solve on another day. Today it's about making it look cool, and I just remembered something I completely forgot to do with the brush tool. Something we learnt in the last episode. We now know we can erase with these, and one of the thoughts that I had is, hey, look at all these trees. These are never going to get seen. So now we can remove all of these in this area, and then we don't have to worry about them being under the buildings, which is pretty cool. And I forgot to do it up in the area up top, so I'll just leave that for now. But man, this area is looking so cool. And yeah, what we want to do is just plaster, I think, the middle here with trees, although saying that, the way that the person had done it on Reddit, they put a lot of rows of trees as well, especially alongside the paths. So I might give that a go. Let's just fill this up on the outside, remove all of the trees on the inside area here. There we go, and then we'll try and do our own tree patterns. I'm going to sort of zoom in and do them in nice straight lines and try and get something looking real good. It might be a bit tricky to do. We could put a row across here. And look at all the visitors. We got loads of people visiting this area. Maybe somewhere I can squeeze in a car park, actually. I think I've got one of those on here. I'm starting to forget where they all go. Small, secure car park or a small car park lot? I think that one's smaller. There we go. So what does that look like? That ain't so bad. It's a little bit of grey inside this nice green area. I think we'll put one on the opposite side. So we've got a park at each place, and maybe somewhere else in here, maybe closer to the front. Although I'm not really seeing a lot of places, but my oh my, did this area love this place now. Look, all the way up to 3 stars. So many parks just piling loads and loads of land value onto this area. We still haven't given it a district, so let's do that quickly. Just going to make a rough one so we can get an idea of the land value. And we're probably going to divide up our districts like this. In fact, if you want to suggest names for this area and the districts, now would be the time to do so. So go down to the comment and leave one down there, and we'll name these places. So that'll be another district. This is very rough, by the way. I'll tidy it up. That'll be a district right there, and then this will also be a district. So the 4 districts, and they need 4 different names. Well, that looks really good. I'm happy with the way that that turned out. It's not quite as impressive as the Reddit post that I saw, for sure. I think if I had a picture of one of these places and tried to imitate it directly, it would have looked really good. But this new area is exciting and promising. Yes, we've got some traffic issues. I know all about that. I'm letting that be. We're going to fix all of those things later on. Today it was just about getting this up and running, getting this park in place, and let's have a look at how close we are now. We have done all of these level 3 ones. We've got some level 4s to unlock. I've been thinking about terraforming, building a mounting somewhere and putting down the observatory. Well, that's probably going to be extremely expensive. And then we've got 2 on this level, so let's just count again. So 5, and then 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we're getting close to unlocking those monuments, and we've actually unlocked one. The space elevator. Oh my, that's for tourists. Okay, so you might have an idea what we'll be doing in the next episode. Bear in mind, that's got an upkeep of 16,000 a week, and we only have 3,000, so we've got some work to do before we can probably actually realistically build that. But this area right here, I think it's going to look an amazing part of the city as a whole. It's looking real good. So let me know what you think about it. And as always, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. 2,000 for another daily episode tomorrow. But that is it from me this episode. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.